Voice of Chester.
Good Monday night, everybody. Dave Burman live again in the CMP Radio.net studios here in, we'll call it a combination, right on the border of Brookhaven and, of course, Parkside, Brookhaven, Chester, right in the middle of everything right here. Beautiful studios in the big brown building. And John Pierre Bryce, of course, doing a great job. There he is, our producer, another Delco Sports 360 program, focusing on Academy Park basketball. They've had a really nice history, been around, well, the first year was 82-83, Academy Park High School, with the merger of, well, they had Fulcroft and Collingdale, Sharon Hill, and Darby Township the summer of 82. A lot of school mergers that summer to become Academy Park in the fall of 82-83. Special guest we have to my right, Todd Hryn. Todd is in his second year, boys basketball coach for the Knights. And to the right of Todd is Ron Bright. Ron was a tremendous player on the 1993 and 94 Academy Park boys basketball teams under Rick Pergolini. 93 state semifinalists before losing to Pottstown. The 94 made it to the state finals and lost a tough one to Beaver Falls. That's Joe Namath's alma mater out at the Hershey Arena. All right, Todd, here we go. Basketball time. I know right now, before you know it's going to be fall sports. I know Academy Park year in and year out with Jason Voshesky and his staff, a tremendous football team. And you guys at Academy Park, you want to get the kids to play as many sports as we say down here in Delaware County, play as many sports as possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we actually just talked about that last week as coaches, trying to, get the players out, get them as involved as possible. Maybe they're playing an instrument. Maybe they're doing something other than sports. But I think the key is staying busy, having a routine, and obviously me being a football fan, I definitely don't mind seeing our guys on the hoop squad go play football. So,
and Ron, thank you very much for coming out here tonight. I've seen you. It's the first time I've actually met you in person. I've seen you a lot of intense games, especially with Chester back in the day. And because you played against Chester, you might have been an assistant coach, I think, at times for the boys program.
I was, yes.
Okay. And now you're the girls coach in year number 6 in the Del Val, coming off a season last year, undefeated in the Del Val.
Correct.
And 11-11 overall. You lost to Harriton, right?
That was the playoff game. We lost to Harriton. So
right.
The season we were 11-10.
But they were good.
Yeah.
And it's really tough all over Pennsylvania to win a PIAA state championship because of, you got the private schools out there.
Right.
And, enough said about that. All right, Todd, you are from a small town out in, can I call it northwestern Pennsylvania, Clearfield, which is really known historically for unbelievable high school wrestling. Tell us your story and how you ended up in the Philly area and specifically Delaware County.
Well, I always had a good rapport with my high school coaches, whether it be Forrest Campman, Nate Glunt, who was a Penn State linebacker, now has the boys basketball program and is a defensive coordinator on the football staff, and then obviously Tim Janocco, He's going for win number 300, week 1 for Clearfield, so we'll be rooting for him from afar. But I always was just enveloped into the sports world back home. There's not a lot to do. So I got into coaching, and through some of my college teammates, always loved Philly and had the opportunity to get a day job out here paying a little bit more, and I thought it was a good opportunity for me to try my hand out here, and met Mike Doyle at Pencrest, Chris Conlon. They gave me an opportunity to be on those great staffs, and one thing led to another, and now we're here.
Well, as you know, I know Clearfield, the town of Clearfield, like a book right off of Route 80. I was a radio broadcaster, 13 years in Mifflin County, Lewistown, and we used to have 2 high schools until 2011. Indian Valley, Lewistown, they would play you guys at least 2-3 times a year in several all kinds of sports. You guys were in the same league, the Mountain League, Clearfield High School. You graduated in 2008.
Yes.
And I announced a couple of your high school football games, and I know the guy that was a DJ at your mom's wedding, mom and dad's wedding back in the day, Bobby Day, and I could go on and on about him. He was just a great guy. He was a play-by-play guy for Clearfield High School sports. So, yeah, tell us about your high school history. And it was just growing up out there. You had, as you said, Tim Janoko, which rhymes with Sunoco, so you can't mess the name up. Unbelievable sports history in Clearfield. They finally, after all these years, was it in the fall? Spring, right?
It's the spring.
They won the softball state championship.
Yeah, and again, I've been away so long now. It's been almost 7 years. I really don't know any of those girls from the softball team, but I know a lot of their brothers and sisters and things. So it was really nice to see them go ahead and get that done. As for Bobby Day, mentioned a legend. Rest in peace. He's bigger than life where we come from, and we always appreciated him on our games and everything he did for the town.
Never forget him, because my first year up there, I was actually before that in Harrisonburg, Virginia on the radio for 13 years. Lefty Drizel territory, James Madison. I could go on and on about that. Then moved up to Lewistown the summer of 2002, and one of the first football games I announced was at legendary Mitchell Field. You played there before, and it was Clearfield with David Richards taking on Indian Valley, and Indian Valley crushed them in the regular season, but then we got crushed in the playoffs by you guys. But Bobby Day comes up, and I did not know how to pronounce. So I was getting reacclimated to Central PA again after being gone for 13 years. And can't even spell Jonocko.
Janocko.
And I go to Bobby Day. How do you pronounce that? Jonocko? He goes, no, it's Janoko, like Sunoco. So there you go. And I know you have some friends out in Clearfield. And you're in Clearfield County.
Yeah, Clearfield County.
What other high schools is Currensville there?
Currensville, Du Bois.
Okay.
There's Du Bois Central.
Oh, yeah. I've been to a lot of games there.
But it's not like out here where you go a couple streets over and you're in a different school district. So.
It's unbelievable. When you talk about Parkside, and then you got Upland and Brookhaven and Chester, everything's, you got Chester High, you got Sun Valley, you got Strathaven, Chichester, we could go on, and where you are. You got Interborough down the street, and then you have Penwood. And I can't wait to talk about some of those Penwood basketball games, boys games against Academy Park. So, Todd, you moved down here, and it's how much of a different world is it than Clearfield personality-wise and stuff like that?
Well, I think just being able to play at the college level, and I coached a year at the college level, and being able to travel a lot, it helped me see a lot of different styles of basketball, a lot of different basketball in different regions. And to be honest, basketball is basketball. No matter where you're at, if you love the game, you know how to teach the game, it's the same everywhere you go.
No doubt about it. Have you thought about maybe trying somehow, some way to get a Clearfield Academy Park matchup sometime?
We've talked about it, particularly in the summer. Coach Glunt has reached out a few times, but obviously with different transportation issues, probably wasn't in the cards this year, but next year we'll see what we can do. We have Williamsport on the schedule this year, so that's close enough.
Oh, you're going up there?
Yeah.
Oh, man, the Magic Dome. Did you ever play there before?
No, they came here last year. It was a pretty
right.
good game.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could. I was announcing the Chester Charter.
I think it's January 28th. We'll be out there, 3.5 hours. So.
Yeah. Well, Chester went up there a few years ago with Rondé and those guys, and they have a really good program.
Yes.
The problem, Alan Taylor's the coach. It's just hard to get out of that district. There's not that many teams. Only one team goes to the state tournament, but it's a really good basketball. That's awesome. Yeah. So last year, well, first of all, let's talk about some of your mentors. We had Chris Conlon, the Strathaven boys coach, on, Mike Doyle. So you started off with Mike.
Yeah, and, everybody knows Mike's personality. He's fiery. And then I got close with Chris. And Chris is sort of the, not that he's not fiery. I've seen him fiery, but he sort of polar opposite personality-wise. Chris, laid back. He's definitely somebody that won't yell and scream first. He kind of thinks about what he wants to say. So it was a nice balance of two amazing coaches in our area I got to sit and learn from and pick their brain. And it was really a great ride in those 4 seasons between Pencrest and Haven.
And I announced a lot of those games too with Tyler Norwood and Chris Mills. He was I like players like Chris Mills. He just grinds it out, man.
Tough as nails. I'd want him to play quarterback any day for me.
Yeah, he's playing Division III quarterback. Moravian. He would be a junior already.
Yep.
Mike Mallon, he was another tremendous player for you guys. Unbelievable. So let's go over to Ron, because I could talk to Ron a lot. Tell us your story, where you grew up, and your career at Academy Park and some of the coaches you looked up to.
All right. Yeah, I'm Darby Township, born and raised. Born and raised there, grew up there my whole life. I went to, elementary schools. I went to Harris Elementary. And back then we had a middle school, which is now one of the elementary schools or intermediate schools, but it was Ashland Middle School back then. From there, I actually after my 7th grade year, I actually moved to New Jersey. And I went to Edgewood Middle School over there because in Jersey they had middle school go up to 9th grade. So I kind of came back out to Southeast Delco School District at Academy Park when I was in 9th grade. During that time, it was actually a strike year here in the district. So we're talking like 91.
91, 92 would have been your freshman year, I believe, right?
So, no, 90,
91's your freshman year.
90, 91, it was a strike year. So while we were in the middle of the 3rd market period in Jersey, when I came back to here, it was like the first day of the 3rd market period. So actually, my guys that, graduated with me were playing freshman basketball. And the day I came back was their last regular season game in 9th grade. They went undefeated. They beat Interboro in a freshman game. So
that was 90, 91 your freshman year.
Right.
Then you go to your sophomore year. That was Rick Pergolini, the coach through that period.
Yeah, he was the coach there. Actually, Mr. Waldron was the 9th grade coach, and Perk was the varsity coach. So we fast forward to 91, 92, my sophomore year. I was pretty much a JV player at that point. We were still young. We started, I think Shannon Overton, Willa Ramshore, and George Fagan were all sophomores that either started varsity or played major varsity minutes on that team our sophomore year. Along sparingly, DeJuan Wesley played.
What talent!
Yeah,
unbelievable.
That's my guy.
Who was Rick's assistant coaches back then?
So it was John Dandridge. He's a Darby Township guy himself. And we had Coach Benny and Coach Gary.
There you go. It goes too fast, man.
I think Coach Benny ended up coaching at Conestoga after his time at AP.
Did he? Man.
Yeah.
So did you guys make at least the districts in 92?
91, 92, no. It was a young team.
Right.
He had like 2 seniors and the rest was just underclassmen. And then we didn't break into the playoffs until, the following season, 92, 93, which was our junior year.
So when you were a little kid, I'll call you,
yeah.
When you were like in the late 80s, and maybe 90, 91, did you look up I got Chester and Glen Mills were unbelievable.
Right. So I didn't really understand the history of those teams. I was more of an AP guy because you got to remember my brother and sister are like 8 to 10 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
So they went to AP. So it's like, I used to wait for them to come home from school or not get home from school so they could take me to the games, because back then a lot of those Chester Penwood games were right after school, so like 3:30. So they would have to wait for me to get off the bus, and we had to run up the street real quick to the games. If not, in those days we had the broadcast. So the school district used to broadcast on the school channel. So I was able to watch the games there.
Wow, I wish some of those were archived.
Yeah.
But Chester was, and in Glen Mills, James Spears,
Yeah.
and Chester, Zane Shaw, sophomore, and Keith Wood, and these guys, and you've heard Mike Johnson,
Right.
Unbelievable. So then 92, 93 was a year you guys really turned it on. You went all the way Academy Park in the AAA state semifinals.
Right, and to be honest with you, Dave, we really didn't even know where we were at with that. So it's just a funny story. So we played Pottstown, I believe at Norristown.
State semis.
State semis.
Howard Brown. Well,
Right.
You said he was a sophomore then.
Yeah, he was a sophomore. Him and Tom Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
Point guard.
Yeah.
So we're playing them in the state semifinals. We don't even know where we're just playing basketball at this point. Like, we don't know anything about districts, states. We don't know any of that. So after the game, everyone's throwing Hershey kisses because, they won, they're going to Hershey. So we get in the locker room, we ask coach, we're like, what are they throwing Hershey kisses for? And he was like, well, if we would have won that game, we would have been going to Hershey to play.
Oh, so he didn't get into the history too much, Rick? Oh, I thought he'd say you guys have a chance to make history. The only time you guys want to be like Chester, Glen Mills. He didn't bring that up.
We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know where we were at. We didn't know anything about districts, states, anything.
But it was insane.
Yeah.
And then when you played Nanacoke, when you start playing teams like the Clearfields, those small little towns where the whole town comes out to the game.
Oh, yeah. So it's funny. The Nanacoke game, I believe, it's either that, it may not have been them, but in one of those games we played, and I think it was like a state. I think their best player ended up going to Delaware, University of Delaware. We get to the game, an hour and a half, 2 hours before the game, and the whole building is packed already. They have like 2,000 fans in the arena already.
Okay, this is 1993.
Right.
All right.
So we get there, and like the whole gym is already filled with the other team's fans. And by the time we come out to warm up and everything, the only fans that we have is like our parents. Like it's a couple guys on the team's parents that made the trip up to the game.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to find out where this game is here.
I got it.
I got the little miniature computer here.
Oh,
But there you go. All right, so continue. Let's talk about the 93 run for Academy Park. It shows you how hard it is to get there.
So yeah, the 93 run, we were aware of it. Like we were aware of everything that was going on at that point. Like we knew districts, we knew how many games we had to win.
93.
You still in junior year?
Yeah, junior year.
All right, so
Because that's when you played. Well, we'll get to it in a second here. Because I'm determined now.
Yeah.
And this is really cool. The PIAA does a great site, a great job in updating this, and So here we go. So keep talking about 93.
You'll give me a name, I'll remember. But
yeah.
So the 93 season, it was just we were just playing. Like we all got along as a team. Mm-hmm. So that made it better for us. Like outside of basketball, we all hung out. We all, got along, away from the court. And I think that's what made us special.
What position were you?
I played the 2 or the 3, they call it now. So I guess it would be considered a wing now.
Right.
But back then we had shooting guards and small forwards back then. So I split 6-man duties with my guy Larry Blanding. So it depended on who needed to come out first. It was a front court player that needed to come out. Then Larry would go in for him. It was a back court or player. I would go in for him. Shannon Overton never came out the game, so nobody came in for Shannon.
Sorry, 92, 93, before we get to the
Right.
state tournament here, because I see some of these teams.
Right.
And I have to refresh my memory. We still have 42 minutes, guys.
No problem.
All right. JP, it's pretty good stuff here, isn't it? There you go. What was it like your first time you played on the clip joint, Chester High, Academy Park, 92, 93? And that was Solo Shaw.
Yeah.
That was a young Chester team, Ray Carroll.
Damian Hunter.
Damian Hunter, yes.
I think Eric Evans might have been a young.
He was a sophomore also.
Yeah. And of course John.
Yeah, John that year was a ninth grader.
Yeah, but he gave us fits too.
Right.
But playing there, I mean, we had a confidence with us, so we weren't really caught up in the mystique of playing there. We still wanted to be competitive because it's been, if you look at the history, we've never won there since the school opened.
One time.
No, I'm talking about prior to our win.
Oh, in 94.
The next year,
Yeah,
So going
right.
into that,
That's it, yeah.
Going into that, our mindset is to just to try to. We did know that. I mean, we didn't really know the history of the playoffs, but we did know that Academy Park had never beaten Chester. So it was just like we just want to come in here and try to get a win. Try to be that team that doesn't get blown out by 30 or 40 because of their, them being so good. So that was our mindset going in, just try to get a win. So it wasn't so much. We didn't play scared. We weren't scared. It was just more excited and trying to accomplish something.
I can only imagine. Do you remember playing against Cosolo, Jamar Shaw? Him and Eric, they like to they like to chirp a little bit, to say the least.
Yeah, so I mean, he wasn't. To be honest with you, Solo wasn't really that bad in high school. As he got older, and I think when he went to college and started playing, out in the the summer league, because he used to play in the summer league out our way. And I mean, he was a showman. So I mean, in high school, we didn't really get that. It was just, to me, everybody from Chester talked. So it was like they always had a swag about them. That was just like, we're Chester, and this is who we are, what we do. So, and
Alonzo Lewis was the coach at Chester at the time. Yeah, he won a couple of state titles. So Todd, this is pretty cool. You're getting a little lesson here yourself as the boys basketball coach.
Yeah. Always, and this guy, he's probably one of the first people to extend a hand when I got the job last year. Obviously, got it kind of late, got it in the fall, and so I can't thank RB enough for sort of taking me under his wing. I'm familiar with Delaware County, but obviously ingratiating myself with Sharon Hill and different people, RB's been great. So this is all stuff that sometimes I'll sit and I'll listen, and now I feel like I know people that I have no idea who they are, but I've heard enough stories. So
yeah. All right. So 90, 93, you lost to Chester that year both times.
Right.
Okay. And then we'll get to 93, 94 in a second, the incredible year.
Yeah.
So you opened up the state tournament in 93, March 20th. You had to go all the way to Mechanicsburg, and you played the number 1 seed, and they had a kid, I think, Adam Miller.
That's him.
Kennerdale High School, the middle of nowhere, southern York County on the Maryland border. And
went to Delaware, right?
Maryland, actually. Right there.
Maryland?
Yeah. It's a Fawn Grove area, because I was a radio announcer in York I went to college.
I think he might have committed to Delaware.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, did he? Yeah, I
Delaware, University of Delaware. I'm talking about college. He might have, if he didn't play there, he committed there, because I remember we did hear about that going into it, that they were like undefeated.
Doesn't have their record. But yeah, they were, the competition not near as good as ours, but down here in the Philly area. But you played Cumberland Valley High School, which is like almost a college.
Yeah.
And they're actually going to be hosting the PIAA state playoffs this year, state final. So Kennerdale, you beat them 54-51.
Yeah.
54-51. Pulled it out. And then you went to William Allentown Allen High School, home of the Canaries. You played Nanacoke.
Right.
Because the first round, Kennerdale, that's kind of a home area. Yeah. Well, at least you didn't have to go right down to southern York County.
Yeah.
But you said they packed the place.
Oh, it was packed when we got there.
Okay, so Nanacoke.
So Nanacoke is if I'm not mistaken, that's a close game there. That might have went to overtime. I don't know if they have it there. So that game came down. It was the last play of the game. We had to inbound the ball, go full court. And I inbounded the ball, threw the ball full court, probably to the other foul from the baseline, inbound baseline, probably throw it to the other foul line wing area, foul line extended to Willard. He catches it in the air, but he gets fouled. It's like 1 or 2 seconds left in the game. He goes to the foul line. He makes 2, sends it into overtime. Then we win in overtime.
Yep, by 1 point. Yeah. And so Nanticoke got everybody there. I mean, that's it, you know. Then you played at Quakertown against Allentown Central Catholic, a private school.
Right.
Very tough, rich history. And you win it, baby, 58. All the games were just incredible. Must have been incredible games, 58-54.
Right.
Then you get to Norristown, play Pottstown and Howard Brown. Another close one. You lost this one, though.
Right.
Then Pottstown eventually, they played Valley with Tom Pippin. I think Pippin was his name, a star player. And Pottstown kicked their butts.
Yeah, they went on to win it.
So you were that close to winning a state championship.
Yeah, they won it as sophomores.
Yeah. Yep. So there's then 94, you finally beat Chester. I had the article that game. What was that like? And it was at Chester.
Well, yeah. Well, the first one was at home.
You lost that one.
We lost that one in overtime by 2, 53-51, I believe.
And yes, like Coach Pergolini, Coach Lewis, they coached together at Sharon, Darby Township back in the day.
Yeah, so that was exciting. That was a tight game throughout, back and forth. As you can see, I believe it went to overtime. If not, it was just a 2-point game, though. And then going down there, we were just confident at that point, and we just went and played. If you talk to some Chester guys from that team, they'll say that we had the game changed because it was supposed to be a night game, and then it ended up being an afternoon game, and their fans weren't there, and that's the only reason why we won.
Oh, there was no fans there?
No, the fans were there, but it was like. I guess they say it wasn't as packed as it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was a night game.
And Chester eventually won the state title.
Yeah,
2 teams from Delco, the same league in the state finals, different classes. Yeah, and then you guys lost to Beaver Falls.
Right.
So the 93, both teams in the semifinals.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. And the Strathaven the year before, you remember that team? Kevin Towns and those guys. They went to the state finals, played Black Hawk.
Right.
Star player Dante Calabria. All right, so that year, 94, Academy Park, you opened at Strathaven.
Yeah.
All right, first game, and you played Tamaqua, which is another coal region town. Don't tell me they had more people than you at that game.
They didn't. That one was
you get a lot of locals, too.
Yeah, that was a little better for us.
Yes. So that was a close, 64-53. Then you had to go up to the Canaries again, Allentown, Allen to play. Oh boy, Bishop, Hoban,
right? And
they were beastly.
Yeah.
And you won that by 4.
Right.
Then Southern Lehigh. Wow, they were good. It was at the Geigo Complex. You had a chance to play.
Reading.
Yeah, Reading. Stu Jackson, Lonnie Walker. Yeah. What a job they've done. And you beat them 60-58. Everything was close. Unbelievable.
Yeah, we had some guys that could make foul shots at the end of games, fortunately for us. And, we can get stops when we needed them.
And then the state final, Beaver Falls, 1994. Chester, the day after that, they won the state championship over Erie Prep. And Beaver Falls, they were good.
They had an amazing shooting night, to say the least. I mean, they probably shot 60-70% from the 3-point line that night. I mean, I don't know if they ever shot like that before, but.
And then it's been hard for Academy Park to even make the state tournament over the years, here and there.
Yeah, I think they haven't made it since. I mean, they made it in after that. I think Bayou Demon Victor Cologne made it in like 2000, maybe 99, with Keith Lambert was a senior. And
the other Keith Lambert, not our buddy Keith from Octorara High School.
No,
younger brother of Gene.
Lambert.
Do you know Gene Lambert too?
No.
But Todd does. So what do you think of that history, Todd? Todd to the right is second-year head boys basketball coach at Academy Park in Sharon Hill. And then Ron Bright, the girls basketball coach. We'll get to the girls. So what do you think of that?
Well, I know that banner that you guys are talking about from 94, that's hung up on the wall. And that's something that we talk about all the time. And we talk about standards and what it takes to get another banner up there. So that's really been something, having him around too. He can speak to what it takes to get there. So it's always nice, whenever he does talk with my guys, I know that they take it to heart, and they try to, really understand where he's coming from and what it takes to, like I said, get where we want to be.
And back to Coach Pergolini and Coach Alonzo Lewis. Rick was Alonzo's assistant at, as I said, Darby Township. Unbelievable. How much did they ever tell you, did Coach Pergolini ever tell you about Darby Township and the history? And did they have a lot of banners at the old high school? So, which I think is a municipal building or an elementary school?
So the old high school is like one of the elementary schools, so it's first through 8th now. Darby Township School, they don't call them elementary or anything. It's 4 schools now. So to be honest with you, I don't think they have the banners up in there. The last time I was there, I don't recall seeing them. And I mean, like I said, that was our middle school at one point.
Right. I'm glad I have this history I can share with you guys eventually. So Todd, last year, boys basketball, Academy Park, you had a nasty schedule, a young team, and it was a struggle. It was frustrating because you want to win every game, and I know how you are. And you're playing Chester. I think you played Chester 3 times.
Yeah, well,
or was it twice?
It's funny. It's twice, but
both games at Chester.
We went to the clip joint twice. So I had faced Chester before at Pencrest, like in the Nelson Classic,
and you beat them
neutral floor. But going to the clip joint for the first time was an experience, and that was with COVID regulated crowd. So I'm excited for this year to get back. But yeah, there were definitely challenges last year in terms of what direction we wanted to go in. A lot of young talent, a lot of younger guys that are the future of the program right now, and they were last year. But with that being said, when you throw young guys out there and you throw them to the wolves, when you got Penwood, Archbishop Carroll, Chester, they're going to learn really quick.
Played Great Valley. I was PA announcer for you for a few games. Great Valley, and you talk about kids transferring. Chester, 2 kids are Rucker and Jerkins,
and
they're going in.
Players.
Cameron Wallace, who had like 26 points for you. Great Valley, he transferred to Westtown.
And again, even though I coach against those guys, I don't like to see them transfer. Like the Rucker kid and Jerkins, I thought they were unbelievable for sophomores. I mean, I hate to see that as a public school guy myself, but it is what it is. We'll play whoever comes out. I know Chester won't back down no matter who they have.
No, it's great because I keep in touch with Ralph Dorsey, the Chester Biddy, and he's pumping it up. And there's a couple of parents already contacted me about they look at this as an opportunity now to get their kid. They might get some time as a 9th or 10th grader for the varsity this year for Chester High. And they were contacting me about events, the Big 60 shootout. Mm-hmm. So hopefully you can get some of your kids in that down the road. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out. But you have tell us about some of the Jameer Anderson.
Yes,
he's a junior this year.
He'll be a junior, yep.
Unbelievable guard. And the key over the summer, these kids have been hitting the weights too?
Yeah, and that's a big thing. When I took the job, I mean, if you looked at us last year, some of the freshmen and sophomore, skinny guys.
Yes.
And I think that's been something since March 1st. I've had 8 or 9 guys every night in there lifting. And I'm seeing it in terms of their play on the floor. I don't really have puppies anymore. I have big dogs now, and that's how I feel. So part of that also, we have to continue to grow mentally, continue to make the right decisions on the floor. But I think we will, because some of those lumps we took last year, they got valuable experience. So I think I just have a much more mature group. I can already tell that. I don't ever have to beg guys to get in the gym. They're waiting for me half the time. They're ready.
Great.
So it's a good group. I'm really excited, and I wouldn't want any other job for sure. So
last year, 3-4 wins, I think it was, altogether. But you beat who'd you upset? Was it Penwood?
No. We played a couple tough, really solid games, start to finish, and just couldn't pull them out.
It was Chichester.
No, Chi, and just to talk about Chi real quick, they are very impressive. They were impressive last year. Both.
Yeah, they made a nice run, and so did Penwood.
And we played them in the spring there at Sun Valley. I mean, he does a great job. Clyde does a great job over there, and Chai's they're really coming on. They have some really nice players.
Right. So Jameer's coming back, and there was a 9th grader I saw in the game. The second game, I had a chance to actually go to the game at the Fred Pickett Gymnasium. You had a freshman. He was fearless, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Bryce Lewis.
That's it. Oh, man.
And it's not he is the one that, because of need, he deserved it and he got varsity time last year. But there's about 4 freshmen that we're 4 sophomores to be, that we're really excited about, that you're going to see on the varsity floor this year.
Do you have? Are they like in Chester? You have some of the private schools of coaches or scouts or whatever you want to call them. They'll monitor. They'll be following kids, and then they kind of. I mean, they're looking at kids at a real young age, And you had the same, situation.
I think the unique thing about this group and really getting to know them, they've been through so much together as young men, 15, 16, some cases 14. Right. And that some of the things that have transpired, whether it be COVID or things that have gone on at the school, it's helped these guys get really close. So I don't know that some of these guys would want to leave their friends and their teammates. They want to win together.
Hey, you guys couldn't believe it. Everybody else played. You didn't play any games a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I was like, that was stunning, and I have to be careful what I say because I couldn't believe it. But it is what it is. It happened, and you are still at Strathaven now.
Yeah, and again, Kevin Stewart left the program. When he left, really good team, and I can totally understand not coaching
It's
for
frustration,
a year is really
yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
And he was a fantastic coach. So
and Ron, you too. It was just. How? What did you do? How could you work out the girls? What did you guys do all year?
So, I mean, initially, we were able to work out a couple months in the summer, and then then we just got shut down.
Nothing in the winter. You
We
couldn't.
couldn't do anything.
But all the other teams, a lot of teams are playing.
We couldn't figure it out. I mean, Kevin actually is my nephew, so I understood his pain, and I knew that he's a great up and coming young coach, and he's a basketball junkie. And for him to not be able to get in the gym and not have access to the gym it was really a deterrent for him.
It was like major setback. Chester went through the same thing. The program was suspended. I think I might have told you the story. 1959, they went to the state finals, and there was a ruckus outside of the Palestra after the game, and just a few kids from Chester, and then blows up, and the PIAA suspended Chester for the whole next year, and it set the program back 3-4 years. 60s, 61s, and then finally about 3 years, then they just turned it on again. But it's amazing what that does.
Yeah, so we were off the whole summer and then the whole season. So we didn't get back in. We weren't back in the gym until after the season ended in March. So after spring break, sometime in April.
All right, so
last year.
Back to the boys real quick here. Tell us more what players we should be looking for. Do you have any kids also playing football?
Well, Daryl Fields is returning as the quarterback. He was a big minutes guy for us last year. Obviously, with a lot of younger guys coming up the ladder. I'm excited for November 18th. I want the football team to win the state championship,
and with Boszewski, anything can happen. He's Hall of Fame. He's in our Hall of Fame, or Delco Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's fantastic. But November 18th can't come soon enough because we have a lot of competition for minutes, and it's a nice luxury to have, I think, going into this year. But obviously, Jameer, I asked a lot of him last year for a sophomore. And I know he wants to win. So
him and Lewis at the guard?
Yeah, and he would get frustrated last year, because he wants to be really good. And I've seen him kind of put that into his off-season regimen, his workouts, and he's been a leader. Zamir Mobley. He'll be back actually for a senior year. So he's been a great leader. And Jameer is going to the PA Big 60 event. So hopefully that's
next week,
October
event. Okay, great. Great.
And again, there's numerous. I don't want to name just a few. There's numerous young guys that will be in our plans.
Where'd you play this summer? What kind of leagues and teams you played against?
Well, it's interesting. Anybody who wants a nice outdoor tournament, any Philly area teams, go see Gene down at Lancaster. The outdoor.
Oh, yeah, that's
that
right.
was fantastic.
So you were, because I announced the championship game. Central York, did you play them?
We played Lancaster Mennonite, and they were they were solid.
Yeah,
we can't remember the other team we played, but that was fantastic down there. It was a great atmosphere. We went to York College.
Brandon Park, yeah.
Yeah, we went to York College. That was a great shootout.
You played at my alma mater.
Yeah.
What a beautiful, in 1980, a beautiful complex.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like, between Sun Valley and we're going to play in some fall leagues. And, I think the kids are, I've watched them mature, which has been nice and, makes us excited to start the school year.
Yeah, Octorara is going to be tough, very, very tough this year. They are, I think they are 5A. But anyway, we'll find out soon enough. Ron, talk about the girls program, year number 6. And what do you got coming back this year?
Right now, I have one senior, supposedly 2 seniors, but one, is off and on, so you never know with kids and, working and things like that. So my one senior has been playing since her freshman year, Samaje Young. So I'm expecting a lot out of her. She's going to have to do a lot of the ball handling duties along with scoring. And then we got a handful of sophomores that I think should be able to contribute. Imani Banks, Elijah Kinlaw, and my daughter, Kiela Bright.
Nice.
Yeah, so they've been putting in the work in the summer, so I've already seen an improvement from this time the season ended until now. Just with, we focused a lot this summer on player development, so we had individual sessions. We had some 2 or 3 people sessions where they can just focus on the skills that they need, and then we can go from there. We did participate in a league in North Philly up at Martin Luther King Rec Center on 21st Street. But other than that, we just been in the gym a couple days a week, just working on our skill set, trying to get ready.
Multi-sport athletes, any kids?
Yeah, I got it. It's actually a requirement. In the fall, they need to play either soccer, field hockey, volleyball, or cross country. A lot of them try.
A lot of sports in the fall, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of them, try to stay away from cross country for some reason. I tell them that's the best thing for them.
Oh, conditioning.
I'm taking it back to the Gratz days where Coach Ellerby used to it used to be a requirement for those guys. So
the great Bill Ellerby.
Yeah, so hopefully we can get around to that where, they just want to do it to be conditioned, and sometimes you can win games with being in better shape than your opponent.
I love the gym. I love the Academy Park gym, and I've announced a bunch of these games. And Chester, the rival's Penwood.
Yeah,
it's obviously Penwood. Chester, when they play Academy Park, more business, very business-like. I mean, it's intense, but you get Penwood.
We gotta win some more games in order for it to be, more of a rivalry. I think that's the problem.
Every 2 or 3 years, you'll beat Chester. You had the game-winning shot a few years ago, and
yeah, we got a couple since then.
Yeah.
I was on the staff for one, and then one of our assistants that was on that team actually took over the following year, and they got him.
Is that
Frank Wolf?
Frank, yeah, I know Frank.
So they got one that year as well. But other than that.
He always busts my chop about Frank.
Yeah.
We beat Chester. All right, so I'm still the Chester guy. It's all right, but this is great. I just moving back to the area, just get more involved in all of Delco. I love it. I'm on the Delco on the Hall of Fame board. It's great to see, and it's unbelievable around here the kids that we have, and it is nice if we can keep most of them at your hometown school.
Yeah,
and I'm sure
you. I mean, when you get. I sometimes, I encourage my kids to play AAU because there's a lot of opportunities for the next level for them to play AAU, but a lot of times you run into, kids, the AAU coaches being affiliated with, those certain schools, and you end up losing kids that there. I think I lost an incoming freshman to, the Catholic League this year, probably, focused around AAU or being driven there through AAU. But at the end of the day, I just wanted to see the kids, try to make it out of here and get a free education. That's really all it's about. And if they get it through Academy Park, that's fine. They get it through somewhere else, that's fine as well.
How about your boy, our buddy Marvin Boo Dukes? He's back at Chester.
Yeah.
You could just tell as the season last year was going on, they were getting better. They were playing. They played some tough competition.
Yeah, they did. They got a lot better. Our second game came down to the wire to like the fourth and late in the fourth quarter. So I'm expecting them to be even more competitive this year. They had a young team. They had a real good freshman that I think is going to be a problem for the next couple of years as well. So
the fundamentals, just even with the boys, catching the little stuff, from Pee Wee days, catch the ball, try defense.
Yeah.
A lot of kids. I know a bunch of them. I see it down the shore playing ball with them. They get frustrated when they're missing shots, and they think they don't have to play defense because you're down. Right. You got to get back on defense. Defense is that's the hard work. Defense, as Pat Riley said, no rebounds, no rings.
Yeah.
And our last NBA championship, Moses Malone. You guys were a little young at the time.
I was actually at the airport when they returned.
Oh.
So I think my picture was in the paper.
Oh, I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
Inquire. Was it Inquirer?
It was. Oh, I don't know. The Inquirer, the Daily News.
All right, I'm going to look that up because I have when they came back to the airport. I had Moses get with the trophy, and I'll have
I was in the airport somewhere.
Oh, and there's a picture in the paper. You believe that's 39 years ago? But Moses, he just crashed the boards, man. Yeah. And he just the grunt workers right there. So that's what you try to tell the kids. A dirty thing. Jameer Nelson, there's a kid from Chester who really didn't score that many points. Wasn't a big time scorer, but Martelli was starting to recruit him as a sophomore and junior, and he just saw, there were so many more things to his game.
Yeah, well, I watched him coming up, at that point in time. So he came out with Bayudin and Victor, so I was like a fan at that point. Like, I'm the guy that's on the front row yelling up and jumping every time we do something. So I was at all those games, but I saw Jameer his sophomore year warming up in the layup line at Academy Park, and the way he just, it was warm-ups, but the way he just came off and just shot a pull-up jumper at the elbow, I said, this kid going to be good. I had never seen him play. And then, once the game came, started, he was a starter, and then he played well. I was like, yeah, he just had a look to him that looked like he knew the game and he could play the game, and it ended up being true. And
then finally, we got the championship. Jameer got it in 2000. I was really hoping, because the year before they went to the state quarterfinals, lost to the Williamsport Millionaires. That's our last PIAA state title. And the next year they just had some tough games, man. It's always tough. And then the state finals, they blew out Uniontown.
Well, they got us up Norristown. Remember that
first
game?
Round game?
I don't know if it was first round, but it was a state game up Norristown. Academy Park, Chester, Norristown.
In the state tournament.
Lateef Watts hit a three and got fouled.
Lateef. Now, I was in Virginia at the time.
Oh, right, yeah.
But this is 2000, correct?
No, this should be the 99.
Oh, 99 boys. Oh, you were Quad A then?
Yeah.
Quad A. Let me click the thing on here. And
yeah, we were up late in that game.
Academy Park. You opened up with Williamsport that year, the states in 2000.
So was it districts? I know we played them.
Probably districts.
We played them somewhere.
Probably in the
districts. It was at Norristown. I remember being on the front row, my knees ready to run on the court, and then N13 happened.
So you played Williamsport with Taurus Johnson and Chevy Troutman and those guys. That was up at Shamokin. Boy, they're right in the middle of the coal region, man. Did you go up to that?
Yeah.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, you assistant coach?
No, I was a fan, man.
Fan.
I didn't start coaching until 2012.
Then Williamsport beat Hatboro Horsham, Matt Carroll and Pat Carroll and those guys. And then they beat Chester. A crazy game.
Yeah.
And then Council Rock almost beat him in the state semis. 55-54, and then the state finals, they just blew out. It was supposed to be them in Newcastle, but Newcastle blew it to McDowell, and then Williamsport won the state final 64-40. So there you go. And then so there you have it. All right, unbelievable with Ron Bright to my far right, and then all of a sudden, Todd, back to you again. Just let's talk about coaching at Strathaven. You were assistant there at least 3 years.
Two and some change. I had spent last summer with Haven for the most part. I mean, we went to Chris took the guys to Ryder, and this opportunity came up towards the end of the summer, and it was something that I couldn't pass up. But love my time at Haven. The people are just, I mean, they accepted me like their own, and loved, like, you know, it's kind of funny. I was joking with Chris the other day. We played Strathaven the first game, and used to coach Jaden, Haregi, and Jack, those guys as freshmen. So I've kind of got to watch them grow up a little bit. Tremendous young men, great players. Sky's the limit for them. So we definitely have our work cut out for us there on December 2nd.
December, what night is that?
I think it's a Friday night.
And then where's the game going to be?
To be determined. I would say Haven, but we'll see.
Oh, it could be at Academy Park too.
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes we play. I know for us, sometimes it's between us, Strathaven or Pencrest. It's usually like that sort of tournament.
Yeah, they don't have that anymore.
I don't think it's like
It's
that.
not a tournament, but I think we just play each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's still going to be the media shootout?
Something like that. Yeah.
Same format, but probably not. It's probably not.
Right.
You know,
The type.
advertised.
Well, I'll be announcing. Well, either
What
way.
shirt are you going to wear that night? That's the
Oh,
question.
well, if it's at Strathaven.
Your hands are tied.
Well, yeah. Well, I did the Coatesville Chester football game too. That was that one okay. That went okay. It was a great game too in football. So yeah, it's just I don't think anybody will have a problem.
But back to Haven, like Kevin Haney, obviously, Jeff DeSantis,
Gigantor.
those guys, being on the bench with them, you can add them to the list of guys that I've just learned so much from, and they're great people. And one thing I can say about Haven and Pencrest, anywhere I've been, it's nice to see today, 2022, it's nice to see coaches that really care about the kids. They wake up in the morning, they don't spend time with their family as much, but they're there to try to help young guys get to the next level of life. I think that's what we all try to do. I know for me, I see a younger version of myself in a lot of these guys. So, I think that's what keeps us as coaches getting up every day and going to work. And I can tell you, Haven definitely has that.
They had a really good tournament up in Allentown.
Yeah,
They
that's what I heard.
lost a couple close games. He won one. So that's great experience, too. So I know they got a lot of kids. The bloodlines there with the Mulherns and Jones and all those guys.
Yeah.
So, Ron, I can't believe you graduated 1994.
Yeah.
What a special year for Delaware County basketball.
Yeah. I mean, it's talking about coaches, just looking up to, like Coach Percolini, that was, my high school coach. But Coach John Dandridge was one of our assistants he's from the town. And, when we played in the summertime, the head coach, they didn't have the whole team thing. Head coach couldn't be around the team, so John kind of coached us in the summertime. So that was one of the guys I looked up to. He actually gave me my first chance to actually coach on the high school level. I coached a summer league team of kids from 8th grade going into 9th, maybe early 2000s. And then, I played at Penn State. It was Penn State Delco back then. It's Brandywine now for Bob Wiley. So he's another guy that I look up to. And the only other person I really played for was, you probably know Jeremy Treatment.
Jeremy, where was
So I
he?
played
Was
for him.
he assisted at Lower Merion with Kobe?
He did, he used to coach in Narber. So I played in Narber for 1 year. I think it was maybe my junior year, after my sophomore or junior year. He was the coach.
What's Jeremy like as a coach? Because he's pretty hyper at the games, running the tournaments and everything.
Well, he was much younger then, so just imagine a younger Jeremy. But he was a good guy. I love Jeremy. He's always been a good guy to me. So
how many years did you play at Penn State? Brandywine.
yeah, I played 2 years right out after high school. I played 2 years there, and that was pretty much it.
And are you a teacher at the school?
No, I don't. I work at the University of Penn, but I just coach there. So I started coaching with the boys in 2012, 2013.
University of Penn,
Yeah.
Palestra. Nice.
Yeah, I played in there a couple times, and in the little rec gyms next to it.
Kids would love if you could someday try to get a regular season game there or a tournament.
Yeah.
We used to play so many big games at the Palestra, going back to the 1950s and 60s.
Yeah, I gotta explain the history to them first.
Yeah, unbelievable. And then, so you guys lost that Friday night, 94, and I guess and then Chester won the next night, which everybody was, thank goodness, because that was a tough game with a private school, Erie Cathedral Prep.
Yeah, I mean, I was just happy, at looking back now, probably back then we probably weren't too concerned about it. We were just mad that we lost. But, looking back at it now with all the, statewide stuff, you're just happy to see somebody from your area be successful and go out there and win it and be able to bring it back. I mean, happy they did it.
So what are you going to do? What do you got going on for the fall?
I'm actually trying to get in. We usually participate in the fall league in Upper Darby. So I'm looking into that again, and hopefully maybe we just got some preliminary talks on a fall league, possibly at Penn State Brandywine.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the Del Val this year, let's run down the teams real quick. I know you were 8-0 last year, and are you guys favored again?
Yeah, I never know. We don't really have those coaches meeting or things like that and go through it. I do know that Interboro was young, so they have some kids coming back. They should be competitive. Same with Chester and Penwood. It's always going to be. They're always going to be competitive on the girls' side. I mean, they just if they have one or two people that can play, they just got other kids around that just hustle and play hard. So,
Chichester?
And Chichester, they're up and down sometimes. You never know with Chi, but I expect them to come out and compete all the time.
So you want to have a tough non-league schedule to get the girls ready for postseason.
Yeah, we definitely go a little hard in the non-league schedule as much as we can. I think losing the year with COVID, hurt our scheduling as far as teams having to pick up other games and then, trying to get them back, and they already are locked into, some seasons with other teams. So we'll sit down with the ADs to see where we are at this point and where we can fill in.
All right, Todd, the Del Val this year in boys basketball.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough again.
It's still Chester's.
Chester's
right.
Always Chester. We've seen Penwood so many times here throughout the spring, and they're Penwood.
A lot of guys back. Yeah.
And obviously I already spoke about Chi. Interboro, obviously last year, that's a pretty solid Interboro team there.
Right.
And we had our hands full the first time getting a win at home. I mean, they're can't remember the running back's name.
Abu Kamara.
He gave us fits out there. So every team, every night's a dogfight. There's no easy games on our schedule.
Right.
So.
Right. Interboro, Penwood, Chichester, Chester.
I never got to see Glen Mills, but I've heard big time things.
Back in the day, man, those games were just, them and Chester just, they had to go through each other, especially 89 and then 1990, 91. They met in the state semifinals. Rap Curry, do you remember seeing him play back in the day?
Yeah, I do. He's the AD at Penwood.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, he's in our, we got him in the Delco Hall of Fame. I was there 2013. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, Rob's a good guy.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So great studios here. Jean-Pierre Bryce, 5 years. We've had cmpradio.net, all kinds of different shows, different messages that go on, and the artwork is fantastic. And good to have you guys on TV. Actually, Penwood, they have their own, I think, sports fan base. I don't know how they got that deal. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of their games on YouTube, everything. Some of the Chester games on this network.
Oh, cmpradio.net, yep. And I look forward to helping you as many games as I can this year. Sure. Public address announcer at the so it's just called the Academy Park Gym. Is it named after anybody?
Nah, not at this point.
Not the Pergolini Gym yet. Nah. Okay, because Rick was one of the greatest. So everything here is archived on YouTube, so it'll be awesome. Ron, final word from you, Ron, before we get out of here?
I just want to thank you for having us on. We don't really get this type of, platform, at Academy Park. So I appreciate you having us.
Oh, I'll send you the link, and hopefully they can, just share it to all. Todd?
Yeah, Dave, thanks for everything you do, not just for us, but across the state. You're the best around, so let's just keep positive energy going for these young people.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Okay, Ron Bright, 6th-year girls basketball coach at Academy Park. Todd Hryn, 2nd-year boys basketball coach for the Knights. Thank you, Jean-Pierre, for the great job as producer. I'm Dave Burman. We will see you next Monday night, cmpradio.net.